I'm Roger Sanchez on Love This City TV. Yeah.
We're here with Roger Sanchez, just kicking it back in Toronto.
Yes.
We are very chill right now.
I think we're just almost horizontal.
We're almost horizontal.
Just about.
That's okay. We're supporting each other.
You know how it goes.
No, we're super chill. I have to say, Toronto is Canada's best EDM house music scene here. Absolutely.
You know, one thing is I've been coming to Toronto for a long time, and it's never failed to really impress me how real deep in the people go for their underground and for their house music.
So tell me a little bit about what inspires you with your music. I know you have the Dominican background. You come from Queens, New York. So tell me, does that influence, obviously, how you got into the scene?
Well, when I came up initially, it was, through the kind of club scene in Queens and throughout Manhattan as well in New York City. So the Latin influence has always been there, especially with the beats and the percussions. Growing up in New York, I was exposed to everything from funk to soul, disco, Latin, hip hop. All that's kind of blended into the sound that I play.
When you're producing music, what is the inspiration? Does it come from when you're traveling the party scene, or does it come from more personal experiences?
It's a combination of both. I mean, it could be anything. Some tracks and some songs specifically are very personal and very emotional. And a lot of things that I make, a lot of the sounds and the beats that I create really are a reflection of what works for me on the dance floor. So I may write something that may be very emotionally poignant, if that's the vibe, or it could be very euphoric, or it could be just dark and dirty, very sexy.
I'm going to quote you right now: dark, dirty, sexy. That is serious movement right now. That really kind of got me going a little bit.
That's the whole idea. I always say this, I tend to play for the ladies, always. My whole thing is if you can get women's butts shaking, the party's just going to continue, just go off.
Tell me about Stealth Records.
Actually, what's interesting is I started a new imprint called Under the Radar, and that's really for the more deeper, darker, more underground sounds that we're putting out. First thing being my new single called Dangerous Thoughts under my alter ego, the S-Man, which is really, it's funny because this is part of my tour called The Return of the S-Man. I decided to really go back to my core underground roots, and that's really what I started focusing on this year. And I started a new imprint called Under the Radar. Stealth Records is the parent company, and that's where I release a lot of my own material, and I've signed a lot of different artists, but I'm really focusing a lot on my own releases for this next upcoming year. Definitely the S-Man, a lot of collaborations. I've actually started really working with a lot of new producers. It just did something with Huxley out of the UK, and that was really a lot of fun. That should be coming out in July. I've done something with Saab, which is an S-Man and Saab collaboration. That's actually coming out this month. I'm currently in the studio with people like Oliver Dollar, Man Without a Clue. I'm always open as long as somebody's got something interesting to contribute.
Why don't you tell me about your best experiences, whether it be for work, for pleasure? Where do you just absolutely love?
For pleasure, I tend to love places like Thailand, Bali. I really like Asia, especially when it's hot, beach. I've always wanted to always go for the water. Ibiza is kind of like my second home, so that's where I spend a lot of time during the summertime, and they have some of the best crowds to play for in the world. Here in Canada, I've always found that the crowds here are really inspirational, especially places like Stereo in Montreal. I used to play at Industry here in Toronto, and that was one of my favorite clubs to play in the world. And, of course, my hometown, New York.
Well, I do have to suggest somewhere. Next time you're here, if you're not going to be here long enough, Sundays in the summer, we have a place called Cherry Beach. And it's a hidden little gem right on the water.
Definitely going to drop by there.
You have to drop by there.
I'll come back. Can
we go together?
We can definitely go together.
This is going to be amazing. But can I spin and this time you interview me?
I'll definitely interview you. I've never heard you play. Hopefully I won't have to stand very far away from the booth.
Might have to pull me off. What are your secrets for the Roger Sanchez empire moving forward?
Well, right now, the real secret is just grinding hard work. I've just in the studio constantly turning out tracks. But the biggest secret is I always have fun at what I do. That's the big secret. You gotta continually have fun.
Thank you so much for being here. Let's tell them your social media, your everything.
You can go to my website, rogersanchez.com, and you can find all my social media there. I'm at DJ Roger Sanchez at Twitter. I'm on Facebook. But go to rogersanchez.com and you'll get all the links. And you got my podcast and radio show there as well.
Roger Sanchez is bringing it back old school, but modern version. Check out his podcast. He's keeping it real, guys.